Oh my gosh, Christina.
Hello.
Welcome to Go Live today, Tuesday. Big day.
Big day.
We're going to take over the show today.
Yes, we are.
Brent and Sam are both on assignment today, so they asked if Christina and I wouldn't mind jumping in, and we're ready.
We're so ready.
We're well rested.
Yes, and we hate the spotlight, so.
Yes, exactly. We have a hard time creating conversation between ourselves. Welcome back from a 3-day weekend. It was President's Day weekend. Loved having a 3-day weekend. Mm-hmm. Did you do anything special?
Mostly just a lot of pre-spring cleaning, but I did notice as I was driving around my neighborhood a lot of open house signs, and a lot of them were ours. So shout out to our agents in the Crown Point Pacific Beach area. I saw you all over the neighborhood.
Yeah, I've noticed in the
cool.
daily listing feed that we get, there are a lot of busy agents creating listings. So that's pretty exciting. And then it's a good service announcement just to remind all of the agents that HSOA has put us on the federal holiday calendar. So moving forward, if you want to know which 3-day weekends the branch staff get, it's we're following the federal holiday calendar this year, which is something new.
Yes, and easy to follow. But speaking of Home Services of America, have you seen their new branding? I saw they unveiled that in the newsletter this morning.
That's exactly right. So even opening up the show, you get a chance to see Home Services of America and the branding that the company, our parent company, uses. Today, they released the new branding. So, keep your eyes out for instances where you'll see like the new logo, the new brand, and you'll wonder what's happened. Well, new leadership, new day, new logo. So we're pretty excited about that.
Very exciting.
I also wanted to give a shout out for those of you who have been hearing our regular cadence of messaging around broker exclusives. I've noticed a tick up in the number of properties that are listed in broker exclusives. As you guys know, because I've been on here before and talked about Real Scout, I'm a huge fan of the Real Scout platform. It's what we use for, or we endorse for our mobile app. It also houses our broker exclusive platform, which I'm really excited about. And recently had a personal experience where a friend of mine put their property up on, it decided to list their property, and we could actually test the market before the photographs were back for the actual listing. We were able to sort of put that property into broker exclusives and test where we thought the pricing was going to end up. So that was a great way for me personally to use the platform. And then also, I had set my sister up for a new listing alert on the Real Scout platform as well. And she happened to be driving down to Southern California, got my weekly email of new listings for the criteria that she and her husband were looking for a second home, noticed one of the listings that was in the email, pulled into their rented Airbnb, dropped off their bags, headed over to an open house, and placed an offer in. And it was all from the email that they received from me using the Real Scout platform. So hope a couple of those examples will generate some creative uses for you in the Real Scout platform. But
yeah, Glenn's been a huge fan of Real Scout for years now. I hear a lot of his stories like this where he's had successful stories of people using the email he sends out. So hopefully you all use that. And I know today we're talking about AI, but before so, I want to make sure I wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year. Ramadan also begins tonight. Impact Council is always sending out emails and posting on our social media celebrating these holidays. So I just wanted to wish everyone who is celebrating happy Lunar New Year, happy Ramadan. But I think we're ready to pull on Sharan so we can start talking about one of she and I's favorite topics, which is AI. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen while Sharan pops on.
I think this is great timing to talk about AI. I mean, I know that you and Sharan are active in talking about it pretty regularly, but it's the beginning of the year. So for agents who are looking for a different way to market themselves or do their business this year, AI could be a simple solution to integrate into your business plan.
Definitely. Hey Sharan, how you doing?
Hi, doing well. I, like Glenn, am a big fan of Real Scout. Anyone in my region knows that too. So
That's right.
use it. It's really great. We were talking about it this morning at the Westlake office meeting. A couple of agents added new listings, so go check them out.
Yeah, and thank you for your support up there in Santa Barbara on the platform. You've been huge.
Yep. Awesome. Well, today I'm excited to talk about AI. For those of you who have been tuned in to our Ahead of the Curve channel, Sharan and I have been teaching AI classes for at least a year and a half now, trying to get a grasp on how it can help our agents do better business, increase your business, just give you more time in your day so you can spend more time face-to-face with your clients versus doing some of the back-end computer work. Recently, one of the big topics, though, is actually how your clients are using AI. How are they using AI to do their online searches and ultimately find the agent that they're working with? So we're calling this one part 14B, I think, because we kind of talked a little bit about SEO versus AEO and GEO in our last Ahead of the Curve class, which is on Percipio. We've gone to a couple office meetings. Shout out to Pasadena and Beverly Hills who hosted us there, and we taught that to their agents in office. But we kind of wanted to flip the script, and instead of talking about how you can improve your AEO and GEO, now we want to talk about how are clients using it, how can you kind of wrap your head around it so that you can go back and watch 14A, which may potentially need to be called 14B, so that you can actually implement some of those strategies. Sharan and I also tuned in on Friday morning to the Quick Wins Collective with Jason Pantana. It was an awesome episode. He's teaching a lot of these same things, so I would highly recommend going back and watching that as well. I know Sam and Jimmy both loved that episode, and Sharan and I were pretty tuned in on it too. So today—
Before you get started, though, a lot of agents, the topic of AI comes up and immediately they start to panic a little bit because it's a new technology. And I just want to stress Christina's suggestion to go back and watch some of the videos that you guys have created because they're amazing. But first step for me was just creating time in my week to learn more about AI. So I blocked out every Friday at 10 o'clock for 1 hour. I just go on to, ChatGPT or any of the other AI platforms and just start playing around with it. And if you're not up to that speed, creating that 1 hour to go back and watch your videos is a great first step for somebody who just wants to put their toe into the pool of AI without getting overwhelmed. Yep. And for me, it was just a matter of going on and start creating conversations with the tool about real estate related topics. And then you start to learn a little bit more about how you can use it every week. So first step, just create that time each week and don't let people reschedule you.
Yep, that's a great reminder. If today's topic is a little too advanced for you, don't worry. We have everything from the basics to, now you've gotten the basics, what are your next steps, to now this is a little bit more advanced. But I think that the way that we've broken it down today, you'll be able to understand how clients are using it, even if you haven't fully implemented those strategies in your own business. But those are all on Percipio, and they're about 30 minutes in a digestible episode for you.
Yeah, that's great advice, Glenn. And I would also add to that and just say, it is all encompassing. It is an overwhelming thing, and it's multiple things, it has multiple tentacles, right? Every day you're hearing about a new use or a new platform or a new thing that it can do. And I was literally having this conversation this morning with someone to say, I think what you need to focus in on is how can it help you in your business? It's so easy to get distracted with the shiniest tool, and image creation is so cool, and video creation. I went down a huge rabbit hole on video creation one day, but if it's not going to help my business move forward, then I should probably not tackle it right now, right? If, like you said, if you're just getting started, get started with the basics. one of the great things about AI is you don't have to learn it to know how to use it. You can literally ask it, how can I
Mhm.
use you? How can you help me? Start a dialogue. So it's one of the greatest tools that way. So just
Love it.
wanted to reinforce that don't see it as this overwhelming thing that it's probably best to not even try and tackle because it's too huge. Just do it in small, small, tiny increments in the way that's meaningful to your business. And before you know it, you'll be integrating it and doing well on it.
Great advice. Love it.
Awesome. Thanks, Sharan. Okay, so today, just so you get a little preview of what we're talking about, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about how clients are finding agents today, how they're using AI, whether it's in a simple Google search or they're using ChatGPT or Perplexity or any of those other tools. We're going to talk about SEO because despite what our episode title says, SEO is not going away. It is still important to how AI is generating these responses and how it works together with AEO and GEO. And if that sounds like a lot of different letters, we will explain them to you, and hopefully you don't have to remember what those stand for, but you'll just know what are the building blocks of those individual items. Then we're going to talk about how those two work together with AI to help clients find you. We're going to talk about a few pillars of visibility, things that you should be focusing on, things that you should be remaining consistent with, which will be a key word for us during this presentation. And then strengthening your visibility and self-audit. We have some resources for you also hosted on Percipio for our California properties agents that are watching. And if we have time for Q&A, we will do that as well. So feel free to drop your questions into the Q&A as we go. We'll do our best to either answer them as we go or answer them at the end if we can't fit them into the conversation. All right, Sharan, take it away. How are clients searching for agents?
Same way you're searching for things, right? So I would say a good indicator is when I go and search, everyone's Googled things, right? You're all used to Googling things. That's what we're basically talking about when we're talking about search. And traditionally, you would get all these different links, right? You'd click on all the different links and then you would do a little bit of research and maybe you'd get the answer that you want in the first few links. Maybe you'd have to search a bit more. That's your traditional search. Now, AI is literally turning that on its head because it is doing all of that legwork for you. And it is now giving you an answer rather than you having to do all the legwork. So making it a lot easier for you, right? Even if you go to Google now, you'll see a little bit of an AI overview first. It writes that out for you, right?
That's
If
right.
you're anything like me, I just take that and go, right, great, got what I wanted. I'm not clicking on all those links because you just literally gave me what it wanted. It's making things so much easier, right? So it's also providing recommendations. And it's now relying on things like maps and reviews and local relevance, along with all of these great AI tools, and giving you recommendations. Those recommendations, by the way, are being very highly trusted. So that is the key difference, is the trust level has gone up. If you've, ever looked for a restaurant or a local business and it gives you that top searches, you're probably going to go roll with it. I'm going to reference our manager, Lyle Elliott in Ventura, Westlake, and Ojai. I was having a conversation with him, and he said he's looking for a specific type of contractor for his kitchen remodel. Put it into AI, AI spewed out a name, didn't do any further research, just called that person, and off we go. They were hired, right? So the trust factor is really high with AI now. So
Right.
this
So if they're
leads.
doing it for a contractor or they're doing it for a restaurant, they're probably doing it for an agent as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're doing this, that's what other people are doing for you to find their agent. And on a recent poll review that I saw from 1000 Watt, 61% of people who were surveyed said they used AI to find a real estate agent or research a real estate agent or something to do with real estate. That's a very, very large number, and it's only growing all the time. So this is really relevant. It's relevant to start this now, so you're prepared for the future, right? And the future's coming fast, my friends. It is
Yeah.
not creeping
It's
up on
now.
us. It's coming up very, very quickly. So how do we become visible, right? Because the AI is basically looking at different pillars, which we'll talk about later on. But basically, it's looking at these primary signals for you, your location, which connects you to your marketplace, call it your geographical farm, right? Your reputation builds trusts. We know that very well. Your activity signals that you are active and you're engaged and you're relevant today. You know what you're doing today. And clarity helps platforms understand who you are and what you specialize in. And we'll go into a little bit more of this a little bit later. But basically, these are the things that it's looking for. And when these signals are very clear and consistent, your visibility improves. And visibility is influencing whether you're discovered in the first place, right? Like that search you're doing, if that restaurant or that contractor didn't even make the list, you're probably not going to them or booking a reservation anytime soon because they didn't even see you. It's the same for real estate as well.
Yep.
So having said all of that, now, in our title, it says, is it the end of SEO? It's not the end of SEO, but it's changing. So how does SEO fit into this overall picture? Christina's going to explain that a little bit.
Yeah, and I think I've shared the anecdote before. I have a friend who works in multifamily real estate in my neighborhood in Crown Point and got a call out of the blue, and he was very confused by it. He was like, I don't know how this happened. And I was like, he asked ChatGPT, and sure enough, he asked his client, how'd you find me? Oh, I typed in top multifamily agents in Crown Point, and you were one of the 4 names that came up. Got a $3.5 million listing out of it, sold that, and he has 2 more deals with this same client, all because of ChatGPT.
And was your friend engaged with ChatGPT, or
No.
was it a total surprise?
And I think I mean, through his brokerage, which is a local smaller brokerage in the community, trying to bring him over to our brokerage, but he has a lot of content through that, but he was just like surprised that that happened. So the fact that he wasn't actively doing that means there's a big opportunity for all of you to jump on this now and compete with the agents who are naturally showing up, but you're actually putting in the groundwork, which is what we're going to share with you today.
Yeah, this is not the time to shy away from this. This is the time to jump on board because the people that are ranking right now, like Christina said, like her friend, are probably doing it by accident. There's things that they've already done, like their SEO, blogs, social media presence, right? So that's something they've already done, and AI is picking up on it. But here's an opportunity for you to really make some minor differences in some cases and leapfrog above anyone else that's not doing it intentionally.
I'm sure agents are excited about that.
Yes.
Yeah, and GEO is still important. So Christina's going to explain that component of it.
Yes. So like we said, SEO is not going away.
Sorry,
It's
SEO, not GEO.
Yeah, that's okay. There's a lot of letters.
Yeah.
Hopefully after this, you won't need to remember those, just what happens to rank higher for those. But anyways, like I said, it's still important. It's still a foundation, but it's not the only way that people are finding you. So if you think about SEO, that is how your website is ranking in search results, mostly on Google. Before AI was generating a recommendation that appears at the top, you would typically get 1 or 2 sponsored links that people are paying to put at the top of that specific keyword that you're typing into the search bar. And then below that would be each individual website ranking based off of the content that you have, the usability of it and the user experience that you're having, all those different things. Still important. AI is still using SEO to find your website, and that factors into the generated response that it gives you, but it's not the only thing. And like we said, you're gonna hear a lot about location, which would be maps. So your Google business profile where you have your business tagged, AI recommendations, local signals. So again, SEO is still important. It is still a factor. But the rank of your website is not what people are looking at anymore. They're looking at that generated response at the top of Google. They're looking at the summary that comes up in ChatGPT. And yes, a lot of times those summaries, well, most of the times those summaries do reference sources, and those sources likely rank higher in SEO, or maybe sometimes they just have the right information that AI can take and regurgitate back to you, which again, we're going to talk.
Well, a lot of the results that come out of ChatGPT or one of the other AI platforms gives you an answer to your question, but I personally still like to verify that information, which means I'm probably going to your website. I'm probably reading articles that have been written about you. So it's verification for the answer that is generated through the AI bot.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So now I think we're going to talk about AEO.
AEO.
So
Yeah.
Sharan, please tell us, what is that and how do we rank for it?
Exactly. What is AEO and GEO and SEO, all of these things? So, to clarify, the EO is the same in all of these terms, right? Engine optimization. To help you understand SEO, search. That's how it was done, like we said earlier. A in AEO is answer. So now AI is providing answers, whereas before you were getting searches. Literally, you had to go and do the research. So AEO, like I said, generates answers. That's why it's more trustworthy, because it gives you the answers, not just a list of links, right? So you don't have to do the legwork. So when someone's asking for a recommendation, AI evaluates clarity, relevance, reputation, and location, which are some of the things we're going to dive into a little bit later when we talk about the 4 pillars and what you can do to influence these things. It's going to look for signals that it can confidently understand and summarize, right? So that's what it needs to do in order to recommend or give the answer that you are the best. That's something that we're calling your AI identity, right? All of your profiles, your reviews, your content, your mentions, all of this contribute to how AI understands your expertise. So if it cannot understand it, it can't recommend you, right? So that's where it is. So the clearer, the more consistent your signals are in these regards, the stronger your visibility will become. And AI is looking for patterns, right? It's not human. It seems human. It talks to you like it's a human, but it's not human. It's a computer. So it needs to see patterns. And we'll get into all of these a little bit more detail, but just to give you kind of an example of what I'm talking about. Let's say you, in some cases, you use your middle initial and in some cases you don't. AI doesn't know that your intention is that you are the same person. It's going to see that as unclear, disjointed, and it's going to confuse it. So just by doing that, you have given it less clarity. So it has less confidence that you should be recommended. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. And we're going to go into profiles and reviews a little bit later, just to show you exactly what can be done. But now here is where GEO, which is what I'm going to let Christina
Yep.
explain, comes into it and works with AEO.
Right. So AEO, I kind of think of like the information, like it needs to know who you are. GEO wants to know where you are. Because if I'm sitting here searching real estate agent near me or open houses near me, or who should I go to for my senior real estate services, it knows that I'm sitting here in San Diego, so it's going to try and find people that are local to me. Whereas if Sharan did this same search, it would know she is, I don't know where you are currently, Montecito maybe, up in your SPV region. It would know where she is when she's doing that search based off of her physical location. So GEO helps platforms understand where you are so that it can serve your profile to people that are looking in your area. So again, it connects you to your market area. It needs to know your service areas, how locally present you are, which you can do through social media, your Google business profiles, and then how close you are as well.
And do agents get to control that? Like if I do only Rancho Santa Fe, can I make sure that the answers are coming up for me personally within the Rancho Santa Fe community?
Yeah, some of the examples we're going to share is when you're having reviews with locations mentioned, which is an example on this page. Ask your clients to say your full name and your service areas or your specialties in your reviews, giving it more context. Another example would be when you're writing your content on your website, talk about yourself in the third person and where you're doing business and what you're doing. So your online presence needs to match your real world presence if you want to, or if you do business in certain areas or one certain area, everything online needs to reflect that, from your Google business profile, from the reviews that people are giving you, from the local content that you're creating. And then if you've been on any of my classes before, I'm like, geotag everything, make sure it's in your bio, make sure it's on every single post, and be specific with it, versus a broader term. I think we should cast a larger net, but the more specific you are with that, the more context.
Well, I think that's huge to refer to yourself in the third person, because you're using your name and not I, right? So
Yep.
every time you use your name, you're just building up those keywords associated with your name.
Exactly. So that's GEO. And then I know Sharan's going to try and tie it together with your AI resume.
So basically what we're saying is all of this, all of your digital presence, basically think of it as your resume, your AI resume, right? And it is AEO and GEO working together. They are continuously evaluating your resume. So it's not a static paper resume like before. You updated it every time you changed a job or every time this is constant. It's ongoing all the time, which is why it's so critical, right? So it's based on clear authority. You're recommending locally, geotagging, as Christina mentioned, which equals more inbound opportunities because it's going to recommend you. You're going to come up in the answers, right? So strong signals will help reinforce the authority that you have and improve your visibility. And visibility is key, because if you are not visible, if your resume is not always on and active, you're not constant or clear, you're basically invisible to AI. And if you're invisible to AI, like we just mentioned, you are not going to get that call. Because if you're invisible at the beginning of their search, they're not likely to call you when they're further down the line, even if you then become visible, because they've already made a connection to someone that was recommended early on in the process, which is why it's so crucial to get on board early on now. And like you said, Glenn, just take it in bite-sized pieces, set aside some time, work on it. We're not expecting you to do this in one huge go, right? The more comfortable you get with it, but the results are crucial. To be invisible in AI is not a good thing for your business. This is why the 4 pillars, and we mentioned these before, the 4 pillars of visibility are so crucial. And we're going to get into those now. And this is the time where we'll give you some real kind of experience, expertise, and examples of what you can actually do and take away from today and put into action. And Christina's going to talk about clarity, which is the first pillar.
Love it.
Yes. So first off, you want to understand if AI can understand who you are and where you work. That is the key to making sure that you show up in these search results. And I think that this has been shared on other webinars. We've talked about this before, but a lot of agents say, I help buyers and sellers achieve their goals. AI doesn't want to take the time to figure out who I is, which is why you need to say Glenn Wellbrock, or Glenn F. Wellbrock, is a real estate agent specializing in coastal homes in Encinitas, Carlsbad, and Oceanside. You want to have that context for them. And again, we'll talk about on the next pillar, the consistency of the name. So update your bios to have those specific locations of cities and neighborhoods. You want to clearly define your specialty, again, speaking about yourself, and using consistent language across all of the platforms. And a lot of the times when AI is giving you a summary, they're copying and pasting from a source that gives it the clearest answer. So the clearer you are on your website, on your social media, the clearer people are in the reviews they're leaving on you when they're saying, oh, Glenn Wellbrock was a great real estate agent. He helped me buy and sell a home in Encinitas, California. It's going to take that and say, oh, this is exactly the answer to the question that I'm looking, that provides the clearest amount of information.
Yeah, I know that you're kind of poking fun at me at using my middle initial, but there are actually 2 Glenn Wellbrocks, and we're in completely different industries. And so many years ago, I started using my middle initial, but you just reminded me that since I've reinstituted my thoughts around that I need to do that on LinkedIn, on any of my online personas.
Yeah.
my profiles.
Well, it's a perfect example for, going back and evaluating, am I clear on all platforms? Have I changed my business name? Have I changed how I reference myself? Have I changed my specialty or my areas of business? Go back and do an audit of that. We do have a question. Do we put that on our website everywhere? Yeah, your website should have this information. Absolutely. The great thing about AEO and GEO is you do have more control over this by telling it exactly what you want it to know about you and exactly what you want it to know about your business. So this should be everywhere. And we do have a checklist for you as well as an action plan that we will reference at the end of the episode. So thank you for that question, Susan. All right, moving forward to our second pillar, which Sharan is going to talk about.
Yeah, so consistency, so crucial to use. Not just your name should be consistent, but everything needs to be consistent across all platforms. So your same bio, your same business name, contact info, use the same city and specialty descriptions, right? Don't try and be too broad. Like we said, that's not going to win here. So think of the old adage, um, jack of all trades, master of none, right? We're trying to be the master here. So, for example, casting a broad net, to use Christina's term, you're saying one profile says you're an expert in Southern California, right? Because you're trying to get leads from everywhere. You don't want to close any doors. But that AI sees as weak, it's too broad. Whereas you're being very specific, saying something like Santa Barbara or even a neighborhood within that area, that's going to be better, but only if it's consistent everywhere. So if you're saying Southern California in one, Santa Barbara in another, Hope Ranch in somewhere else, that is diluting your consistency, right?
Sharon, what would you say to an agent that says, well, I love my farm, it's in Solana Beach, but I would also, of course, take a listing or a client that was in Del Mar or Encinitas?
That's a great question. I would say focus in on the area that you are farming and want to be dominant in, because then referrals will come from other places because people have friends, they have families in other places, but be hyper local first. But you can also add other areas. What we're saying, you don't have to just pick
Right.
one. You
Okay.
can pick different areas. You can pick a whole area like Santa Barbara or the whole of San Diego if you want to, but be consistent and say that everywhere,
Or North
right?
County, coastal San
North
Diego.
County,
Again, you want to
break
be
it up.
referencing those
Yeah.
areas, but you tell it exactly what.
But using the terms that somebody who was searching for an agent would use in asking the question on the AI bot.
Yes. And
Okay.
that is the key. And one of the things that you can do is you can go to AI and say, what are the most commonly searched neighborhoods in San Diego? And maybe you want to use those terms.
Right.
There's a great website called Answer the Public where it tells you what the top searches are going on. And you can answer those questions on your website. So you don't have to pick just one farm. You can pick a more general area. But what we're saying is make it the same across every single platform, right? Make it consistent because that's what AI is looking for. Just like your name, Glenn, and there's two Glenn Welbrooks out there. If it associates your name with one area and then associates your name with another area, it's most likely going to think you're two separate agents, and you don't want it to do that. You want
Got it.
that buildup of your AI resume to be as strong as possible,
And what was
right?
that website again that you were just referenced?
Answerthepublic.com.
And also back to what we kind of spoke about at the beginning, if you're an agent who wants to expand your market area, you can ask AI to help you. Like I'm currently focused in this market area, but I want to make sure that my AI identity with AEO and GEO also recognizes me for X, Y, and Z communities. How are some ways that I can be consistent and clear on my website, my social media? It's a great tool for when you're stuck or you don't know the exact steps to take. It'll outline the process for you.
Love it. You guys are giving me homework for my Friday at 10 o'clock.
And another thing on bios, sorry, just go back one
Oh yeah,
second.
sorry.
In order to help you with your bio and the best that that can be
Oh
in
yeah.
terms of this new world, our good friend Rajiv Sajja, who also has his AI podcast, created a custom GPT called the Bio Optimizer. You can find it on ChatGPT. Whether you have a paid or free account, you can search this GPT. I would search his name, and then go to the Bio Optimizer. Take your bio, put it in there, and ask it to optimize across all platforms. And then whatever you choose on that bio, keep it the same. Don't change it for LinkedIn versus your website versus the company website. And I'll give you this very quick thing that you can do immediately after go live. Not right now, because we still got some good tips for you. But if you go onto Resource Center and look at your profile, check that out, because I've seen a lot of profiles that either have not filled out, they're defaulted to the company language, or they're really old, or they're not relevant. That profile is populating bhhs.com, which gets 16 million visitors per year. That's so crucial, and it's one of the things that you are overlooking. It's part of your bio, it's part of what's informing AI, and it's a big part of it. So that's one thing you can do very quickly. Is your resource center profile the same as your website profile? If it's not, we need to make that consistent, up to date. Again, this is all part of your resume. And I would say clarity and consistency are probably the two most crucial pillars. The other two are important too, don't get me wrong, but these two should be your priority to work on for sure.
Yep. And they work together as well. So our third pillar, moving on, again, important as well, is your local proof. Just like when you're looking up the reviews of a restaurant you want to try out or a new product you want to try, AI trusts what other people say about you. They also help AI to understand where you work, what you specialize in, and how active you are. When was your last review posted? How frequently do they get posted? Gives it an indicator of, are you an active agent? And what are people saying about you? So this is something that might take a little bit of an adjustment, but starting to ask your clients not just to leave you reviews, which I'm sure we could all do more frequently, but also ask them to include your full name and the area that you helped them in. So example would be, I had a great time working with Glenn F. Wellbrock. He helped us buy our home in La Mesa. Trying to train them, give them, say, you can say anything else that you want in the review, but it's really important to me and my business that this gets included in there if you don't mind helping me out. You can also be uploading listing photos regularly, very frequently to your Google business profile, and then tagging locations when posting on social media. Again, a lot of these are themes that we've shared throughout this presentation, but the local proof is another pillar that helps AI, again, understand where you are, what you do, and how active you are in your local community when you have those cues of in the reviews or on your social media posts.
And I think it's important to remind people that not everybody has a perfect review for every transaction. And if you have a negative review, you can ask the AI platform what the source is and go back to try to address anything that may have popped up, which is less than stellar.
Absolutely. All right, and moving on to our fourth pillar, which a lot of info on here, but Sharan's going to break it down.
So activity, we've mentioned it before. It's really important for your AI resume. So activity basically signals you're active, you're in your market, you're present, you're current, you are an agent that should be taken notice of, right? So what are some things that you can do? You need to be updating your listings, your views, your local contents, all of that good thing. Your Google business profile page, yes, still very important, still very relevant. But I think what most people don't understand is you need to post to it. It's not a one and done. I think a lot of people think, oh, I filled out my Google business profile page, I'm good, check that off the list. This is a constant, active, live, living thing. So you need to keep feeding it. Every time you have a listing, market updates, photos, respond to your Google reviews, right? So all of these things are really important. Agent was asking me, should they do this and how often? And I said every day, and they were so shocked. If you can't do every day, at least 3 to 4 times a week, try and update your Google business profile page. Social media, Christina has talked to us ad nauseum about social media and what we should be doing, and it's all important stuff. It's really important to know this. But something we've said before, and we'll keep saying it, is post your listings with location tags. Location is one of the key foundational things that AI is pulling from. So this really, really important. Neighborhood content. If you're already doing neighborhood content, great. Keep doing it, but keep building on it. However, don't do random neighborhood content. Do neighborhood content that's in line with your bio, in line with your sphere, your marketplace. So it keeps informing AI that you are the expert in that area. So that comes back to clarity and consistency. And tag those cities and communities in your caption as well as saying it on the post. Bio, we've talked about your bio, your brokerage website, bhhs.com. Also, your MyConnect website populates bhhscalifornia.com. So your MyConnect profile and your Resource Center profile should be the same. They're populating two huge websites that are out in the world where people are finding you. Ensure your current listings are visible and up to date. And again, local market content is really, really important on both websites.
Yeah, let's
And
give a
then
plug. Oh, sorry. Let's
go
give a
ahead, go ahead.
plug for the services that California Properties offers its agents, right? Like if you're listening to all of these suggestions and it's been a while since you've been on Resource Center, or it's been a while since you've been on MyConnect, we actually have resources that can help you get on there and update those bios, right? Some
Yes.
branches have marketing coordinators. All branches have a regional marketing manager, right? So reach out to the people who are trained to help, and let's make it a good year by getting all of these great tips in use for you.
Absolutely. We're all here to help you. There's 4 regionals, and like you said, market coordinators and agent service representatives all across all of our offices. So someone can help somewhere. And talking of help with reviews, Testimonial Tree is a preferred vendor of ours, and you can find them on Resource Center as well. And if you access them through Resource Center, you can access our relationship with them. It's basically a platform that helps collate all the reviews and all the links of all these different views into one place. Just makes it a little bit of a seamless experience for your clients. It's really important to generate new reviews over and over again. It goes to showing that you are active, current, present. And as we said before, make sure that your reviews are saying your name, because we've said that, they won't know you just by your first name, and the location. So crucial, 2 things that are really, really important. And they just help to strengthen that you are relevant right now, right? So with all of this said, so all of these 4 pillars, you've got clarity, consistency, you've got local proof and activity. They're all working together. They're all really important, but I would start with clarity and consistency. And then all of these can help create and evaluate your current visibility. And here's some of the ways you can do that.
Yeah. And then as we're kind of wrapping up, when you kind of sit back, maybe you want to watch this episode again, you want to watch the Quick Win Collective from last week and some of the other classes that Sharan and I have done, you want to ask yourself, can AI clearly tell where I work, what I specialize in, that I'm active locally? You want to define, refine, to help improve your visibility. And yes, I know this seems like a lot of work, but also I think that AEO and GEO are more beneficial to the individual agent than SEO ever was, because you were competing against these big national franchise websites. Now it's so much more on a local level. You can control what is on there. And yes, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of continual work, but that means not every agent is going to do this. And the ones that do are going to see the results. They're going to see the success. They're going to be showing up in those results, so that agents like my friend who got those listings in Crown Point, they're going to start getting those listings, because I know he's not doing this work. I can guarantee you that. And a lot of agents aren't going to be doing that either. So put in the work, define, refine, continually do it, be consistent with it. And you can use resources such as this tips and cheat sheet.
But Sharan, you and I and Christina, we all know that We're always up against the major players that have one website that covers either the entire country or their international presence. This is the answer to all those questions that we used to receive about how to improve on your SEO. This is kind of giving you a cheat sheet to show up above and beyond where these major national brands are that only have one website.
Yep.
Exactly. And those huge companies and corporations were throwing so much money on keywords, right? That was helping with their SEO. Well, AI is now leveling that playing field because you don't need to throw money at this at all, really, because all the tools are built in. So we created this tips and cheat sheet for you. It's available on Percipio. If you go to Percipio, search for Ahead of the Curve, that's our channel. And under the read column, you'll see all of the documents. And under the watch, you'll see all of our videos, our past videos. But we kind of broke down some of the top sites you should be focusing on. All sites are important, don't get me wrong, but these are some of the top ones. I know if you're in my region, you've heard me talk about Yelp and it's not, the best place for reviews anymore. That's true, but that also will help you get on Yelp's top 10 best list because the 10 best list is something that AI does place some value on. And because not many people are utilizing Yelp, getting on their top 10 best list is kind of easier now than it ever was before. So jump on it now before anyone else does, and you'll be able to rank. And like Jason Pantena said, AI loves ranking lists, right? If any site is ranking you, try and get on those sites because AI loves those because it's already kind of done the authoritative work for them. Like you're on number one on this list. Great. You're the authority. Again, like we've said, stay consistent, geotag everything. Use AI to optimize your content, like the bio optimizer, your custom GPT. And like I said, answer local questions online. Look up, like you can go to Answer the Public, you can go to ChatGPT and say, what are the most searched items for real estate within Santa Barbara? And it will tell you, go onto your website and answer those questions. Those are relevant questions today that people are asking for. And if you can provide the answer, you're already the expert. So simple things like that that you can do, right? Localized reviews, we was talking about that, and use our cheat sheet. It will help you, and we are here to help you.
That's probably the best suggestion on this list. You gotta just use the cheat sheet and then just pick one of the bullet points for you to work on for the week, and then the next week work on the next bullet point, and pretty soon you'll start to get this AI thing.
Yep. And it wouldn't be me if I didn't remind you about DRE and fair housing compliance. AI is not trained in those things, so you need to make sure that you are adding that in before you take anything and publish it online or share it with a client. And I know the requirements of full name, brokerage name, and DRE number seemed a bit of a hassle in the past, but I think it's going to help you with your consistency and your clarity because having that consistent information everywhere is just going to help AI.
Yep.
And a reminder, we do have a new AI virtually enhanced image disclaimer for the new 2026 laws. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to those. And we're going to open it up to questions. But while people are typing out those questions, I do want to remind everyone we're live on YouTube now. So this episode has streamed to YouTube, which means if you're not able to join us at 1 p.m., you can go on as soon as this recording is over, maybe even while it's going, start it from the beginning and watch it immediately so you don't have to wait for it to be on Percipio. However, Percipio does host our full library of Ahead of the Curve episodes for our California properties agents, but we're excited to be on YouTube. So here's a question. Sharan, I might lean on you for this one. Is there a way to provide clients with a form for a review? Oh, I lost it. Like my name, town, etc., and then they can add their additional kind words. I know you mentioned testimonial trees. So I don't know if there's a template or maybe that's a resource we could help work on to share with our agents.
Yeah, I think a testimonial tree is a good one because, like I said, you can put your reviews on so many different ones, and not all the platforms play nice with each other, right? Zillow and Google, they don't kind of get along and play nice, and they don't share your reviews. But it's important to place your reviews everywhere, so that's a recommended one for sure.
I love the
Especially they're a
suggestion,
preferred
though, of
vendor.
maybe creating a form that becomes standard for you in your business practice to hand a client that you've just closed a deal with. And all they have to do is fill it out, and you know that you have all of the standards on there.
And Janae, we can work on that as well.
Yeah.
We can work on something internal, because I know a lot of people ask for that. So watch this space. We'll get working on that for you.
Yep. And then Suzanne Croft. Hi, Suzanne. How can I get copies of these slides? They will all be on Percipio within 24 hours. But again, you can rewatch the episode on YouTube. What are your thoughts on the value and importance of LinkedIn? I think Jason Pantana actually covered this on his Quick Win Collective when it comes to answering questions that people have, like who's the best real estate agent in San Diego, and then going through and answering those questions. So I would recommend going on LinkedIn, and as people are asking those types of questions, replying to those in the comments, but then also creating content that matches that local content. So social media isn't just specific to Instagram. It's also Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube is really important. Reddit, he goes into Reddit quite a bit on his episode as well, which we didn't talk on this, but all of those are important. And there's a lot of different options. So maybe kind of try them all out and find some areas where you feel like you succeed.
Well, and there was another question very briefly on the importance of LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. I personally think that this is where you should be using your public profile to establish yourself as a subject matter expert.
Yep.
So when you're pushing your wares, when you're pushing your sales or your deals, people have a reaction to that. But it is where people go to find you as a real estate subject matter expert. So feel free to post great articles or opinions that you have about where the business is headed and where the industry is at.
And again, using AI to help you optimize your content per platform and come up with those best practices. Sharan, I think it would be good for us to kind of do another training on this and talk about the different ways you can engage on different social media platforms as a follow-up. So thank you for that.
No, totally. And I would second what Glenn's saying. When you're doing blogs, anything about market updates, neighborhood specific things, I think LinkedIn is the perfect platform for that, because it is seen as a professional platform where your authority, your expertise is a perfect platform to display those. So when you're thinking of social media, do not exclude LinkedIn, because it's a professional platform. And in this new world of answers and AEO, LinkedIn is becoming more and more relevant. I know it had dipped a little bit before, but it's becoming more and more relevant. So it definitely should be in your toolkit for sure.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Any more questions? Or do I think we
Georgette said, can you please say where to find the cheat sheet again? Yes. So if you go to Percipio and then you search for Ahead of the Curve, which is our AI channel, and then you'll get to another screen, and on the top of the screen it says watch and read. If you click on read, you'll see our cheat sheet and some other useful documents under that tab.
Well, you guys, on behalf of all of the agents out there, I just want to thank you guys for your willingness to dive into what is typically a tricky technology and making it seem very simple for people. I know that anytime I'm on a Zoom or some type of training, if I can come away with 2 or 3 really important things that will change the way I do business during my week, then it was time well spent. And this definitely pulled in 2 or 3 things that I can start implementing Fridays at 10 o'clock for me.
Awesome. Love it.
Well,
do not disturb Glenn Fridays at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, please don't schedule a meeting.
He's on AI. Well, great. Thanks, Sharan, as always. And we will, if you have any questions, follow up, feel free to email myself or Sharan. If you have requests for future training topics, please let us know. Otherwise, she and I will be researching and presenting you with the most up-to-date AI topics and content.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. And
thank you.
Tune again next Tuesday for another edition of Go Live. Thank you.